American people are tired of establishment politics, tired of establishment economics. They want a political revolution.
I think America can only live up to its potential when we make sure that every American has a chance to live up to his or her potential.
And the last Democrats standing hammer each other in high-stakes debate as the race to take over President Obama's job is heating up. With momentum in Bernie Sanders' corner, all eyes were on what Hillary Clinton would do tonight. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan watched it all and joins us now with the blow-by-blow. Dave?
Well, Lena, Jeff, just 2 days after Bernie Sanders' New Hampshire landslide and Hillary Clinton, he and Hillary Clinton clashed on several issues at a debate in Wisconsin that could have a major impact in Nevada and South Carolina, the next two presidential tests.
Secretary Clinton, you're not in the White House yet.
In a debate that focused almost entirely on issues, Democratic presidential candidates Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton clashed most passionately on the issue of Wall Street political muscle and hefty campaign contributions.
Now, Secretary Clinton's super PAC, as I understand it, received $25 million last reporting period, $15 million from Wall Street. Our average contribution is $27. I'm very proud of that.
Let's not in any way imply here that either President Obama or myself would in any way not take on any vested interest, whether it's Wall Street or drug companies or insurance companies or, frankly, the gun lobby, to stand up to do what's best for the American people.
Let's not insult the intelligence of the American people. People aren't dumb. Why in God's name does Wall Street make huge campaign contributions? I guess just for the fun of it. They want to throw money around.
I've made it very clear that no bank is too big to fail, no executive too powerful to jail.
Later, Clinton fired back at Sanders, accusing him of unfairly criticizing the president.
Today, Senator Sanders said that President Obama failed the presidential leadership test. And this is not the first time that he has criticized President Obama. In the past, he's called him weak. He's called him a disappointment. The kind of criticism that we've heard from Senator Sanders about our president, I expect from Republicans. I do not expect from someone running for the Democratic nomination to succeed President Obama.
Madam Secretary, that is a low blow. But I think it is really unfair to suggest that I have not been supportive of the president. I have been a strong ally with him on virtually every issue. Do senators have the right to disagree with the president? Have you ever disagreed with a president?
Senator,
I suspect you may have.
Those kinds of personal assessments and charges are ones that I find particularly troubling.
One of us ran against Barack Obama. I was not that candidate.
And when Sanders reminded the audience that he voted in 2002 against the war in Iraq, while Hillary Clinton voted for regime change, they went around and around on that issue as well.
Senator Sanders voted in 1998 on what I think is fair to call a regime change resolution with respect to Iraq. I do not believe a vote in 2002 is a plan to defeat ISIS in 2016.
She talked about getting the approval or the support or the mentoring of Henry Kissinger. Now, I find it rather amazing because I happen to believe that Henry Kissinger was one of the most destructive secretaries of state in the modern history of this country. I am proud to say that Henry Kissinger is not my friend. I will not take advice from Henry Kissinger.
It's a big, complicated world out there.
It is.
And yes, people we may disagree with on a number of things may have some insight, may have some relationships that are important for the president to understand in order to best protect the United States.
Well, the next test for the Democrats will be the Nevada caucuses, where Clinton is heavily favored. Then they move to South Carolina, where polls have given her a huge lead among African-American voters, who make up more than half the Democratic voters in the state. So despite his big win on Tuesday, in many respects, the pressure now may be on Bernie Sanders to keep it going.